Welcome back to Film Rich, where we break down the best, boldest and most unforgettable stories television has to offer. Today, we're taking a deep dive into one of the most unique and underrated crime dramas in recent memory, Mr Inbetween. Across 3 brilliant seasons, Mr Inbetween crafts a world that is darkly funny as it is emotionally grounded. In this retrospective, we'll be exploring each season of the series, highlighting key plot points, character arcs, and the core themes that make this Australian gem so special. I have also recapped the entire series episode by episode in my previous videos, so please check them out if you haven't already, using the link in the description. And without further ado, let's get into it. Season 1 introduces us to Ray Shoesmith, a man who lives 2 very different lives. By day, he's a devoted father, brother and friend. But in the shadows, Ray is a hardened enforcer and hitman, working for his boss and old friend Freddy. Whether it's collecting debts or carrying out hits, Ray gets the job done with clinical precision. Despite his violent line of work, Ray remains deeply committed to his young daughter Brittany and his disabled brother Bruce. His life takes an unexpected turn when he meets Ali, a woman who offers him a glimpse of something normal, even romantic, though we quickly learn that Ray's idea of normal is far from typical. We also meet Gary, Ray's best mate, whose Russian wife brings her own baggage, including a violent brother-in-law, Vasily, who's got it out for Gary. When Gary is attacked, Ray steps in with swift, brutal retribution, but in doing so, he learns Vasily's crew is connected to Davros, the brother of Freddy's own son-in-law. Davros tries to kidnap and rob Ray, a move that seriously backfires. Ray outsmarts this would-be captors, including a man named James, who he eventually spares. The moment of mercy pays off, as James later becomes an unlikely ally. A side plot even adds more tension. Ray discovers that one of his Freddy's associates is actually an undercover cop. It's a reminder that danger doesn't come from the streets, it can come from your own circle. Season 1 lays the foundation for everything that follows. It paints Ray as a man with a razor-sharp criminal mind, living in a grey area between violence and vulnerability, between a brutal job and a desire for peace. In Season 2, the series delves deeper into the emotional cost of Ray's double life. Right from the start, we see Ray on a job for Freddy. Only this time the hit leaves him shaken. He sees something of himself in the victim, and it clearly weighs in on him. Back home, Ray's life becomes even more complicated. His daughter is being bullied, so Ray, true to form, uses his street smarts to deal with the situation in a way Ray could. His relationship with Ali intensifies, but cracks start to form as she sees more of his darker side. Things come to a head during a Christmas dinner at her family home, where Ray violently throws Ali's brother through a glass door after a disrespectful action towards Brittany. The moment signals the end of their relationship and shows how easily Ray's worlds can collide. Ray also becomes a primary carer for his brother Bruce, whose health is deteriorating. In a moving arc, Bruce reconnects with their estranged father, adding emotional depth to both of their characters. We are introduced to Dirk, a longtime friend who struggles with addiction. Tragically, Dirk ends his own life after facing one setback too many. Later, Ray is forced to confront one of the series' darkest moments, a paedophile kidnapping Dirk's daughter. It's a raw, grim, and deeply disturbing, showing how far Ray will go when it comes to protecting the innocent. Ray is also asked to kill an old friend who is a leader of a biker gang. He reluctantly agrees, only to be double-crossed by members of the gang once the job is done. The season closes on a devastating yet powerful note. Bruce, no longer able to live with his condition, asks Ray for assisted suicide. Ray takes him to their childhood home and, in an act of both symbolic and heartbreaking, burns the house down with Bruce inside. And an emotional end to a chapter that defines so much of who Ray is. Season 3 continues to test Ray, both physically and emotionally. Things kick off with a brutal assault. Ray and Gary are jumped and robbed by a rogue gang. In typical Ray fashion, he bides his time and sets a trap, and takes out each of them with precision and patience. Ray's daughter, Brittany, is growing up, and as she matures, she begins to piece together more about her father's real life. She's learned that he's just been in jail and starts questioning who he really is. The weight of this double life is beginning to catch up with him. In a moment of reflection, Ray visits his father, who now has dementia. Despite the abuse of the past, Ray chooses forgiveness, another powerful moment that speaks to the emotional complexity of his character. Professionally, Ray begins working for Raphael, a cold, calculating criminal figure who sends him on increasingly risky jobs. During one of these jobs, Ray meets Zoe, and for a while it seems like he's found someone he could eventually build a life with. But Zoe is killed during a job gone wrong. When Ray discovers that Raphael didn't try to save her, Raphael and his men try to eliminate Ray, but Ray destroys them all, closing the door on yet another violent chapter of his life. In the final scenes, Ray leaves it all behind, or tries to. He moves away, taking up a quiet life as a taxi driver. It's a modest ending for a man who's lived anything but a modest life. The final image of Mr Inbetween isn't one of action or bloodshed. It's one of tense and calm as Ray picks up youths who are seemingly there to kill Ray. But Ray isn't fazed because he's already killed so many people. The two youths think they are bad, but no one will ever be able to kill. Ray's strength never came from sheer force, it came from his intelligence, his emotional control, and his ability to read people and navigate chaos like a seasoned chess player. This is what made him dangerous. This is what made him unforgettable. And that's why Mr Inbetween remains one of the most compelling character studies in modern television. Brutal, hilarious, and heartbreaking all at once. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and let us know your favourite Mr Inbetween moment. Until next time, stay sharp and stay curious.